Well, hello there, and welcome back to Freeform Disney. I'm Jeremy, and today we're going to be going and watching 101 Dalmatians. So, every month, we go ahead and do a live stream watch party. It's voted on by the patrons, so everybody gets to go ahead and participate. All the patrons vote. Anyone can suggest a movie. That's perfectly fine. I always try to make sure it's available up on Disney+, which is most of the Disney animated canon, with the exception of one big exception in there, as well as, say, the Marvel movies or the Star Wars movies, which, again, even there's some exceptions there, etc., etc. Anything that's Disney. That's why it's Freeform Disney, right? Well, anyway, this month, 101 Dalmatians won out. Can't imagine why, considering a certain other movie came out a couple days ago. What could it be? So, yeah. Cruella having come out a couple days ago right there probably helped push 101 Dalmatians up just a little bit. So anyway, it's 101 Dalmatians today. I like a number of these. It always surprises me. It's like, okay, I guess it has been a few years. That said, certainly I've seen 101 Dalmatians a few times in the past, so it's hardly new, but I mean, that's true of most Disney movies too. There's only a couple things that I have not seen. There are a couple. Those ones would be a couple in the closer to modern era, when we're talking about Chicken Little and Home on the Range. Haven't seen either of those two. And then I think I'm missing one in the package era. Maybe two. Back in the World War II package era, way back. So that's about it. But everything else in the Disney animated canon I've seen anyway. And most Pixar. With the exception of, think of Cars 3. Maybe I saw Cars 2? I wasn't a giant fan of Cars and the sequels. Yeah. And I don't think I ever saw their Good Dinosaur. So I never saw that either. But most Pixar. And, well, when it comes to Marvel and the Star Wars movies, everything. Although, I guess not technically everything now that the Fox Marvel movies are part of it. I didn't see the most recent of those movies. From everything I hear. Well, hello there to Aria Pendragon over there. So, hey, let me give you the usual spiel in case you haven't heard it yet, in case you're new. So, you're going to go ahead and pull up your copy of 101 Dalmatians wherever you're watching it from, and whether that be over on Disney Plus or somewhere else that you have it available. And I will count us both into it, so I'll give you a 3, 2, 1, and then we'll start. And then up above my head, up here, there will be a timer. So that way, if it gets missynced for some reason, or you come in late, or, I mean, this is true of any of those live streams that are a watch party, then you can go ahead and jump in and sync up your watch to mine. So any of those, that works that way. Okay, let's get this ready to roll over here. So we've got my timer up and ready here. Got to always switch it over so it's ready on this side. Let's see. What else do we need to get ready over here? Anybody? I suppose let me also toss this out here while I am at it. So there is a Discord for Freeform Disney, so I'm just going to pop that over here into the chat. So if anyone's interested, you can head on over there. Feel free to talk after this is over and any other time. And yeah, with that said, it's probably about time to start rocking and rolling and moving our way into a little bit of 101 Dalmatians. So I'm going to get my headphones on. You go ahead and get your 101 Dalmatians ready, and then we will get ready to start rolling. So this is May. So I think the first one of these watch parties for the movies was back in December. So this is a 6-1 already. Wow. So we're working our way through. Let's say I think one of them was Pixar at least. Yeah, because we did Wall-E back in February. I think that was the only Pixar. I think the rest have all been Disney animated canon so far. So 5 Disney animated canon after this, and no, because December was actually something altogether different. That was the something and landing. Shoot, can't remember the name, but Hitch and Landing, something like that. Prep and Landing. That was it. So for Disney Animated Canon, now that we do 101 Dalmatians, WALL-E back in February, and you can catch all of these. They're still up on the channel. I think there's also been Jungle Book was one of them. Just last month we went ahead and did Fantasia, and there's one other. Of course, actually, oh, there it is. Right, of course, it's right beside me. This way though, Brother Bear. That was the other one done right there. And then there have been watches for some of the newer movies, like Moana back behind me. The Moana. Wrong name. Haven't done that one yet as a watch party. Hello. Raya and the Last Dragon. Not Moana. Someday Moana will probably go ahead and grace the screens here as a watch party. But not yet. Alright, so everybody go ahead and have your thing up and ready. Okay, hopefully you've got it up and ready to go ahead and stream. Or watch, you might have it up as a Blu-ray or a download or whatever. I don't know. Whatever way you have it, it's good by me. It doesn't make any difference on this side. So, here I'll count you in on 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, the big old fanfares that we get back here. This is toward the this is tail end of the silver era. Tail end. Pun was actually not intended when I started to say that. Where's Waldo? Oh. Or I suppose in Britain, where's Wally? And different names all around. Oh, when we have all our credits here at the beginning like this, huh? Ah, well, hello there, Dr. Stephen Harlan. Speaking of one of my patrons right there. It's an interesting set of music. I'm not sure how much I feel it actually fits with the rest of the movie. That, on the other hand. Yeah, it's a fun set of slides. I mean, just the character of this whole piece as it goes through. Ah, and hello there to Matthew Cardona as well. I think it's the earlier portion of the music that I question more. Like, this later portion of it seems to fit more. Even if it's a bit more quirky, maybe. Ah, this is your favorite one, Matthew. Oh, nice. I was gonna say, not for me, for my favorite, but where would it probably be if I had to make a guess? Oof. I think I'd safely say top 20. Yeah, I think I can safely say top 20. To start figuring it out more than that, I'd have to go ahead and really dig in a little deeper. But I can safely say that. Now, this is a fun little intro. Get to also show off a bit of London while we're at it here. Such a classic view of London from overhead. Oh, I love this intro. They nicely fake you out on that. It's hard to think. Is there actually a Disney animated movie before this? Yeah, okay. Bambi would be. One that's actually from a non human point of view. And Bambi's really early, but. In his way. You're saying the Steve Marlin intro sides are different than you remember. I was going to say, so 101 Dalmatians is 1961, but certainly those intro slides, I agree, feel much more like they're decades earlier in their style, just with the music and in the feel of it. They don't feel 61. uh, just love Pongo having to go ahead and set him up. Poor Roger. Oh, Pinocchio was definitely earlier. Pinocchio was the second, right? Was that number 2? Oh, I'm trying to think in my brain here, but I'm thinking that's number 2 for the Disney animated movies. Now I gotta go quickly check, make sure I'm not misremembering my order of my Disney animated movies right here. Yeah, I'm right. Pinocchio's the very second one, so way back in 1940. Whereas if you want to go ahead and talk about the order here of jumping all the way to 101 Dalmatians, that would be the 17th animated one, so 20 years after. Well, 21 years after. Some of the things you'll notice in here too, the animation style is a fair bit different because I mean the animation styles were changing at this point. But you see the big thick lines that we have in here too. But as I was saying, this is tail end of the Silver Era because there are only 2 more movies that are technically considered to be the Silver Era. That's Sword in the Stone and Jungle Book. And well, then Walt Disney, dies here not too much longer after 101 Dalmatians, another few years. Well, the dogs are both feeling it. The humans, eh. Some of those shots right there. Such a well framed shot on that other one over Roger. Perdita's reaction there. Uh, let's see. You're saying it does look a lot like Sword in the Stone. Yeah, next movie right after it, and Black Cauldron definitely coming later in the Dark Air. Yeah. I mean, again, definitely the animation style, the changes a bit in there. And actually, I've heard some people debate where the Silver Era should end and where it shouldn't. There are even people that, based on the animation, would argue 101 Dalmatians is the shift in animation, because this is the first spot where you really get these hard lines like this. And really, when it comes to talking about the change in the animation, as I said, that's also part of Disney really cutting costs, which they were doing at this point in time. They were, animation wise, again, we talk about the Dark Era not being their biggest time for hits. And, oh man, by where Disney Animation gets to at the end of it. But funny enough, even here at the beginning portion, where we're technically Silver Era, even at this point, the animation department's in a bit of trouble, just because there's so much debt sitting in there, and Disney is starting to make more live action movies and focus on this, that, and the other. So yeah, so they were looking to cut corners and cut costs. And the animation style here is part of it, so shifting over to the Xerox rather than the old full cell animation and the way they'd done it. But you need the much thicker lines in order to actually make that come across. Otherwise, it doesn't. And that's the reason you have these big, thick lines. Can't sing too much of that one out loud here or I'd get in trouble right there. Oh, you're saying what are the movies before this? So Sleeping Beauty would be right before this. Which, as I said, let's see, looking at it, Lady and the Tramp, Peter Pan. So those are the other couple before. So if you're talking the 50s, the 50s run all the way from Cinderella through Sleeping Beauty. The high period of the silver era right there. So yeah, especially when you note that Sleeping Beauty is the one that comes right before this. You want to talk about a change in the animation style there too. It's like, whew. Man, Cruella's horrid. Yes. You know, it's even worse. Anita doesn't even seem to have a problem with the whole fur coat thing. If only I could afford one. It's like... Love the look. Until Cruella de Vil. I mean, it should take you two as well. Nice the way it focuses on the two of them like that. Movie definitely has good pacing to it as it just keeps rolling through. Even here in the early portions. Mm-hmm. 10, 11, 12. A few more to go. Of course, that's the amusing part is a number of people often confuse and think all 99 are here, but actually they adopt a whole ton. There we go. Oh, which one is that? Oh, what's his name? Ah, can't think of his name. You were saying the lines are the way people are drawn and everything. Well, again, it's part of that copying process on the Xerox of going ahead and doing part of it too, if my memory serves. Because you need those thicker lines in order to actually make it actually catch them well. Then you fill it in afterwards in each piece. Should have just told her they never would. They are mongrels. You have no interest in them. Go away. Even Pongo with some extra spots there. One of those, oh, thank goodness we're through with you. Ah, well, hello there to Kandinsky hero. Yes, Cruella, definitely a classic villain right there. Jump forward a little bit. Now, for bonus points to everyone, why are there 15 puppies? Someone might know that trivia piece right there. If Patch isn't one of the most fun of the bunch. Lucky. I say Lucky's so lovable. So much fun. So named on the spot, right? Bad pun. On the spot. Dun dun dun. Let's see, Dr. Stephen Harlan put in, I guess, a 15 because 3 groups of 5 are easier to see. See if anyone else tosses anything in there. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and toss an answer in here in a moment. Well, toss the answer, and I should say, not an answer. Love how into it they all get. Other than poor Rolly. Mm-hmm. Oh, geez, I kind of remember that too. Mm-hmm. Alright, I'm not seeing anything else popping on that 15, so count them all as they go. Just when you have that many to deal with, dang. Poor Rolly. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, it's actually the original author, Dottie Smith, who wrote 101 Dalmatians. So it actually is the number of puppies, her Dalmatians, because she actually owned Dalmatians. But she had 15 puppies. And in fact, also had one that looked like it was lifeless and was revived by her husband, too. So it is actually directly inspired by her own life. That's why 15. Man, that's a lot of puppies to have right there. Those two feel a little Three Stooges a little bit right there. You could have bonked him over the head and would almost feel in character. You've been thinking. In the evening like this, right? You had the whole R having to be added in like this. It's like painful. That's some destruction, by the way. A big old cello like that. Oof. You'd think they would. At least disguise it a little, right? Not the brightest thieves. Nicely tragic. Oh, this newspaper is amusing. I don't know what they did. I'd love to look into it sometime. But, like, this is like a legit newspaper, it seems. I wonder if they just wrote from the actual headlines. But if you actually look at it, any of the spots that are about the puppies, if you actually read the article, it's actually like a legit article about miners being trapped in a mine or this, that, or the other. It has nothing to do with the puppy, so... But yeah, I guess it's they just copied the actual headlines and text from an actual paper of the time or something of that nature. Except for the headlines with the puppies. I love her phone. That is cool looking. So, devil. Scotland Yard would be overly useful here, but apparently. I don't know. It's interesting how much it made the headlines. Slow news day, right? Oh, by the way, while we talk about visual, the visuals in here and how much you can actually see, I mean, the backgrounds are impressive in this. I mean, the amount that you have going on in the back of some of these scenes. Twilight bark time, right? I love the attitude here between these two. The little puppies are just like, Well, not little puppy, it's a dog, but just so full of energy. Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nah, the Twilight Bark piece is fun. I can't imagine a Disney animated movie, if it were made today, taking so much time, though, to go through this Twilight Bark portion. Because it certainly takes its time doing it. And that looked like Lady right there. She was just right there, popped into the street on the bottom. I swear that looked like Lady. We actually care about some who are not dogs. So we have a big old goose. Right, I forgot about the horse. Yes. We'll say as if it's a Morse code. The way that's said. So hot to puddings. Yeah, there you go. You can eat them. Of course! How did I not have known that? I love that you use these two criminals and try to keep them completely separated from you. But where do you have them hole up the dogs? At a place you probably still own. It's your old house. But yeah, in case calling her cruel via Cruella and the devil isn't enough, it's also Hell House. It's like, dang if we don't go there hard. And giant mansion right there. It's interesting how, like, there's a glass bottle back there, but it almost just completely fades into the background. So it's not any different. Yeah, confirming that the others were actually paid for, unlike the 15 we stole here. Ones with collars, too. Oh, you notice the red and blue collars, right? Red and blue collars because the red ones are all male, the blue ones are all female. Just like Pongo and Perdita. That's supposed to be Fantasia they're watching? Or something of that nature? I mean, the music's wrong for it, but... Nah. Clearly not from that. Does feel like it could be an older Disney thing, though. Probably something more 30s-ish in Disney. Good old Rolly. Whee! Yeah, it did look like a wink to Disney, too. I agree. I'm not sure which one specifically, though. I don't know that era of their cartoons well enough. Makes sense, though. Called them the Pongos. This whole portion, man, what a journey. Mm-hmm. But he does say Pongos, doesn't he? As if it were their last name or something of that nature. The reason especially that they can't be white on the dogs, why they're actually like a gray that you see often enough. Just because, especially with all the snow here, it would be problematic. But then in pieces like this, it can end up with a little more white sometimes. It's an interesting trick as to what to do with the colors of them that way. But yeah, look at these backgrounds. I mean, it's still pretty. I mean, you get all these trees back here and everything else. uh, It is interesting how much the police actually care about this. About 15 puppies. Gotta know that in reality, the police wouldn't care at all about 15 puppies being missing. I mean, unless the people who they were stolen from are rich. Which Roger and Anita aren't. I know they were front page news. We can argue as a super slow news day, and hey, wow, that sounds like a peculiar story. Let's make that a big one. So the police will care for a couple days and then go away. Man, having to get 99 puppies out. What a pain. So many. Ah, well, hello there, Fred Richards. That the English of this time skip their good food to feed their dogs. That's interesting. I mean, given the time frame we're set in here, huh? Interesting. It still feels like that much police presence over 15 missing puppies is quite a lot, though. Again, though, if it does become covered in the press enough, though, that could go ahead and do it, though. Interesting. Speaking of the English, torches on the flashlights. Back to that Three Stooges comment that they feel a little of that nature right there. Sometimes. Trick of keeping all the puppies quiet and not giving it away, right? And we made it back to where we started. Yeah, yeah, see, okay, they all refer to them as the Pongos. Hmm. Spotted hyenas. I think part of the reason you make them such bumbling idiots and make them more toward that Three Stooges side is because of just how menacing and the darkness of what it is otherwise for what they're doing. Just to really heavily counteract that. But yeah, no, definitely some darkness to what's going on here. It's like, whoa. An interesting comment between the movies, right? Sleeping Beauty was actually a commercial failure when it came out originally, which is part of the reason for the all the cutting of the cost here on 101 Dalmatians. But 101 Dalmatians on the flip side was actually a big success. Yes, it did great for Disney. I mean, heck, what a huge success. And even when it was re-released back in the 90s, too. Now, the flip side, that comment on Sleeping Beauty being a failure, it's also probably why there weren't any princess movies again for like 30 years after that. Hmm. Except that you put them through there so they can see. Hmm. Problem with snow. Makes it way too easy to track, right? It's gonna become one heavy train right there. That's lucky right there. Horseshoe on the back. Seeing the spots. Pretty cool, but you don't get to see that horseshoe very much. Yeah, Cruella, more terrifying than the cold or the police or anything else for them. Hey, if she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. It's Rolly, isn't it? Oh, it's Lucky. Right. Didn't remember which one. Oh. All the puppies and whatnot. Like, oh no, we have to walk back that way. Pongo's voice sounds so bloody familiar. Rod Taylor, right? Better make Rolly wait his turn, otherwise there won't be anything left. That'd be a joke on Rolly there, right? Back on the road again. Man, when you have to get 99 puppies and 2 dogs all the way across the street, whew, takes some time. Just ran out of time to erase all those tracks. I love 3 miles to 5 miles. Take the back road, the scenic route. It all gets to the same little town, though. Seems very much like the same dog model. Maybe a little less going up there. But I've seen that a few other times in here where we use pretty much the same kind of Dalmatian dog model on the others. Even when they're not Dalmatians. Speaking of that whole reducing costs. Cruella is always just this terrifying force in here. We get to get dirty. It's interesting when you see the animation lines on their faces and whatnot, actually showing how they were animated, how that comes through on occasion, or on their bodies. And it's true of all the different characters as we've gone through. It's interesting. Interestingly, unlike the collars for Pongo and Perdita and their puppies, he's male but has a blue collar. Interesting. If you were to do 101 Dalmatians dark ride, you just have Cruella pop up on the side on occasion. You're just ducking under. You can see that just popping up a few times outside a window in that portion if you had a dark ride there. It's like, doesn't take too much to put two and two together here. That lucky talking. If so, not very lucky. A sigh of relief for a moment. Final chase scene here, though. It is interesting, the nature of this one. It is kind of chasing after chasing, in a manner of speaking. Just a little attempted murder, that's all. And really and truly, you knock him off a cliff, that could be bad. The eyes. There go the eyes on Cruella. Woo. Oh, here comes that shot of Cruella. There it is. See, bad things do happen to bad people. I'll admit I prefer Roger's version earlier. I love how it's Christmas itself they come back on. Mm-hmm. Oh, some fun cleaning you're gonna get to do. Just a few. Man, I'd say good luck counting them all. They all actually stay still enough not to go and keep moving around. Some well-behaved puppies. What a sensation. Had fun putting this little piece of all the lights coming on, right? The end. A Walt Disney production. Oh, there we go. 101 Dalmatians. Let's move this over here where it's more up and visible. Now we don't have to look too much to this side to go look at the chat anymore. Okay, so what everyone think? Everyone enjoy watching 101 Dalmatians again? However long it's been since the last time you might have seen it yourself. Or maybe it's the first time you saw it. That's also possible too. Definitely still enjoy 101 Dalmatians. Man, it really does have good pacing, by the way. Definitely has a good pacing through it. I think I've caught everybody's comments in the chat. I don't think I've missed anything on the way through. Double checking just to be sure that I haven't gone ahead and missed anything in there. Dr. Stephen Harlan, yes, it was fun. It was fun indeed. Indeed. So yeah, there is 101 Dalmatians again. I'm always surprised by just how short those movies are sometimes. I mean, heck, it's, you know, not even 1:30 yet over here, having started at noon, so. Man, it can be surprising how short they are. I mean, heck, what is the longest one? We watched that just the other time, didn't we? Because Fantasia is actually the longest Disney animated movie, as it actually is around the 2-hour mark. So even some of the more recent ones, and it was an oddity in that way, but even some of the more recent ones, Disney's been pushing longer in terms of their animated movies, but not as much as before. It's also an interesting thing when it comes to the live action movies, because you have things like your Aladdins and your Lion Kings and your Beauty and the Beast and etc., which are, you know, at that point in time, they're longer than these ones are back here in the Silver Era, so they're probably more toward an hour and a half. But then you do a live action movie, you go hit 2 hours or a little more, you've got all kinds of time to go dig deeper into those areas if you want to, just because of the huge difference in length. So yeah, anyway. And of course, 101 Dalmatians had a Disney live-action movie way back when. So long before Disney did its current live-action movies. Which would probably be another reason they chose to go with Cruella and do something else instead, since probably, what would be 101 Dalmatians, the live-action movies, the one with Glenn Close. Is that 90s or 2000s? Somewhere in there, probably, I think. But yeah, having done that, and heck, they did their direct video sequel of 101 Dalmatians at one point. They had a sequel to the live one too. So yeah, definitely have to go a different direction to make yet another live action 101 movie. So yeah, it makes sense to go with Cruella that way, in that sense. Either that or you go do, say, Yeah, no, I don't know what other direction you'd want to go. Yeah, anyway. Anyhow. Anyway, well, this was definitely enjoyable. So I will be catching a bunch of you around. Let's see, what's the next things we've got going on. More Bad Batch coming up Thursday. Some more Rebels coming up on Sunday. All kinds of good stuff coming up. Always keep them busy. Okay. And as I said, if you're interested in whatever the movie for June will be, because again, every month there is a watch party with one of the Disney animated movies. So next month it will be something. I don't know what. If you feel like making a suggestion, feel free to go do that. Otherwise, if I'm moving forward on this, I'll probably just put together the list of the Dark Era movies. So the era right after this, the Dark Ages for Disney, as it's referred to. Bunches of good stuff in there, by the way. So hardly lacking any good stuff, whether we call it the Dark Era or not. I mean, that includes, well, it's a bunch of things. We range all the way from the Aristocats all the way up through Oliver and Company in there. You know, things like Robin Hood, Winnie the Pooh actually is even in there, Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron, Great Mouse Detective, and The Rescuers. Rescuers Down Under is always an odd one because technically Little Mermaid starts the Renaissance era, but really Rescuers Down Under fits more to the Dark Era, even though we have that weirdness in the time. I mean, they would have been being worked on at the same time, so anyway. That's probably what will be being voted on unless people make some suggestions. But again, feel free to always toss suggestions in a comment or anything else. You're more than welcome to. And anyway, in the meantime, I am going to go ahead and sign on off for today. So that means I am going to go ahead and say to everyone here, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you again to all of my patrons for going ahead and supporting the channel and for going ahead and voting on what movie we were watching this time. Heck, we had two of them in here today. Stephen Harlan and Fred Richards were both here. So we had a couple of the patrons here, in the chat. Actually, there might have been more. They might not have just popped in the chat. So, point being, thank you again to all of you. And to everyone out here, have a magical day, and may the Force be with you, always.